Yeah, I think you.
I'm just getting in position, make sure my posture's good, lighting's good, and we go in. Welcome, Summoners of the Rift, to episode number 52 of the Broken by Concept podcast. Look how fast I am at that, Curtis.
It's high
dude.
energy, dude.
This is going to be the best. I'm just kidding.
No, I know.
So, shit. So, what did I do this weekend? All right. So, I watched Saturday night. Okay.
Yep. Saturday night. You say you take a bit of time
You
off
need
on a Saturday
movie
night.
night.
Movie night. Yep.
Oh yeah. So, dude, we're in a lockdown, right?
Yep.
Which is so funny. Is the rest of the world in lockdown or like no one cares?
No.
Just- how
Some
does it work?
are
Really?
because I remember I complained a little bit in my Discord about going back into lockdown, and then a few people were like, dude, we've been in lockdown for like months.
Because we have like
Yeah.
we're complaining about 1 week. We have like 5 cases, whatever.
Well, I think there was, I don't know how many today, but there was 5 yesterday. Before that, there was like 7. There's no way our lockdown's only going to be a week though. It's
You
going to
know,
be weeks.
there's so many exposure points at our place.
Yeah, South Melbourne,
Yeah,
where I live.
We literally got COVID all around us.
Yep.
It's
We're done.
crazy. So if we're out of action for next week's podcast,
I hope I don't get it.
we know you guys know what's happening. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Anyway, so back to my Saturday nights, right? I'm scrolling through, you search up because I like Netflix, right? You know, because that's just the easiest way
Yep.
to watch a movie, right? Instead of downloading it, you
Yep.
know? I'm like searching up, like what's good. I feel like a horror movie, okay? What's the highest rated horror movie on Rotten Tomatoes? Is this movie called The BABADOOK, okay?
Yep.
Sounds pretty scary, doesn't it?
It does.
The BABADOOK.
It sounds terrifying, man.
You know, I'm like, all right, let's have a crack. You know, good reviews.
Yep.
Watching it, just like a normal horror movie, it's trying to scare you and stuff. Actually, this one was interesting. It didn't really have that many jump scares. It was just like had you on edge the whole time. It's like that movie.
You said it was an Aussie one as well.
Yeah, it's an Australian film.
Aussie one. I like watching Aussie films.
So I'm just watching it, just a normal horror movie. And it just like gets to like the last 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, this is an amazing metaphor, this whole movie. Okay, I was like, holy shit, this is one of the best movie for metaphors the whole time. I would never expect it, right? So this is going to be massive spoilers,
Okay.
but we have to do it because I have to talk
So
about it.
no. So if you want to watch it,
yeah, I literally suggest, okay, if you don't want to get my opinion on it, this is my interpretation of the movie, what I think the metaphor is, and how it can be applied to solo queue. Because you guys are probably thinking, how the fuck's a horror movie apply to solo queue? And I think it can.
Yep.
Again, my interpretation. Watch it now. You might think that Nathan's got no idea what he's talking about, but go watch it.
and skip forward over this section if they don't want to get it.
That's
spoiled.
right. Yeah, we'll skip it. And then we time stamped in the Broken by
Yep.
Concept thing, all right? So it's about a movie. It's about a mum and a little boy. This boy is... I don't know if he actually is diagnosed with any like issues, but he like speaks his mind, right? He like whatever's on his mind, he speaks. And a lot of people, like the kids, don't like him and stuff, and he has problems at school. So and the mum's a single mum. The husband died in like a car accident, I think it was. I actually can't remember how, but she's not around. Pretty poor. She sort of works as a pretty sure an aged care facilitator. So the situation is not too hot. And essentially, this kid's like obsessed with like monsters and stuff, and they always say like kids see monsters when they're young, and then he's basically a problematic kid for her. And then he randomly comes up and he gives her this book called The BABADOOK, right? And this thing basically, she reads it out, and this thing like haunts them essentially the whole time. It's not till the end where it's actually a happy ending horror movie type thing in a way. And this is such a good metaphor. So, how do I explain this? So, the
Babadook came out after they read the book.
After they read the book, yeah.
Right.
I guess that's not really the metaphor part. That's just the story. There's going to be a story of it as well, right?
Yeah.
So, this thing comes in. The kid sees it. The kid knows it's there. But the mum denies it until it finally, it's like, it's like, holy shit, this thing exists, right? 'Cause she can like hear it at night and stuff. It's pretty scary shit, actually.
Right.
So it goes all through, and then it gets to the point where it basically possesses her. She like kills her dog and almost kills her son, right? But then that doesn't happen, and then she like confronts the Babadook, and then it like runs down to like this basement, and then basically the way the ending works is that it lives with them, in the basement, and then they sort of just live with it. So the way what the Babadook is in my eyes is it's a metaphor for, I guess, like trauma or like problems that we have in our lives or like our flaws. And And the analogy of, so when they face the Babadook and then it goes down into the basement, the ending scene is like, you know, the kids, you know, all happy with the mom, and then she like comes down and she opens up the basement. She like comes down to like feed it. And it's like really scary thing still. But the way that I interpreted that was, everyone's got all these fucked up issues, right? Like everyone's got their own issues they're dealing with. And there's this great line in the movie where they kept on repeating it, saying, "You can't get rid of the Babadook. You can't get rid of the Babadook." And what's that saying is that, and she kept on denying it. And there's a line in the book that they read that summons the Babadook is, the more you deny that I exist, the stronger I become. And I feel like that's so relatable to like a lot of like our problems and stuff. Is like sometimes we're in denial. We talk a lot about like invisible narratives in solo queue and stuff like that, right? And this is what happened. I mean, it came to the point where she denied the Babadook so much and she was so afraid of it that it possessed her, and she like self-sabotaged behavior in a way. She almost destroyed her entire life, you know? Like she killed her dog, almost killed her son. And it wasn't until the end of the movie where she sort of like accepted the flaws, the situation she was in. And then the big thing that was the way that they did that for the metaphor was, I think, is there was this part in the movie where her son, we had joint birthday parties with like her sister's daughter or something like that. It was more because they tried to fit in all the time, and you could tell that they didn't fit in, and but they never accepted it. And again, this is what the Babadook is. They just never accepted it. And then it wasn't until the end where he had his first birthday party alone. Like no one was there, no one was invited. It was just him and the mum. But they sort of finally accepted that like they weren't normal. And then the Babadook didn't really haunt them anymore. It just lived in the basement. It was there. Their circumstances exactly the same, except they viewed their situation differently. And I recently came across a video from Red Mercy. Do you know the YouTube video?
I don't know what video.
Red Mercy.
I know the YouTuber, yeah. He used to do like jungle guides back in the day or something.
Yeah,
how to do ex-jungle.
He's got like 1.2 million subscribers, right?
Yeah.
And he made a video saying League, he just feels like he's unplayable anymore, right? And then I was just thinking again of the Babadook analogy, is that the metaphor again from the movie is that we play the exact same game, right? I love the game. There's lots of things that's difficult about the game, you know, different. But he just doesn't really enjoy it. He doesn't want to play it. He actually I would say that he has a terrifying experience, the same that family experienced the Babadook, right? But he never like came to accept it. Like a lot of the stuff that we talk about, you know, the solo queue contract episode we did, like all these things we need to accept in certain part of the solo queue experience. It can be great, and but I've lived with this stuff of the solo queue experience, even my own flaws, my invisible narratives, the things that I've struggled with when I was stuck in Diamond all last season, people abusing me because I'm like an old boomer, you know, like just suck at the game, you know, stuff that you experience as well. Yeah. So the way that I view it, so if you think about Red Mercy, he's like them, the mum and the daughter, the mum and the son, like the first like hour of the movie, just getting terrified, just tormented, like self-sabotaging behavior, terrified, haunted by the Babadook. And then I am sort of just at the end of the movie where it's like, it's in the basement. I've always fucked up shit about my solo queue experience, but I understand, I accept it. I don't ignore it. And that's the key thing, I think, the metaphor from the movie as well, is that you can't ignore like the trauma or the fucked up shit about you. You need to, you know, it's there, it is there, and you hear it at night and stuff like that. But you have like a healthy relationship with it in a way. You know, in Can't Hurt Me that we read for our Broken by Concept book club, where David Goggins says he like sits down with his demons, devils, and has a relationship. He has a coffee with them and stuff like that. That's the way that I sort of view as well, that the Babadook in the basement is that and you feed it, your relationship. You don't ignore it. You don't understand it exists, but you have like I wouldn't say a healthy relationship, just a relationship with it rather than completely ignoring it.
Right. Interesting. So that's a lot. I mean, you went over a lot there.
That's a lot of stuff. Right?
There's a lot flowing through my mind.
So I told you to watch it, but you sort of skimmed through it. And you actually had a completely different interpretation because I think you didn't watch the whole thing.
No, I skimmed through it. But
don't skim through the movie. You got to watch it, otherwise you were interpretation.
Yeah, I just didn't have time because I wanted to go to bed early last night. And I left. I wanted to make sure I had time to read last night, so I just didn't have time. But okay, yeah. So that's interesting. Look, and I think that you're spot on in the sense that I'm not going to say your analogy is your interpretation is spot on because I haven't seen the film in depth. But in relation to facing your demons, I think you're spot on. And I think that, well, tying it back to the David Goggins book that we just read, you got to stay. It's not, you don't just get on top of it. You got to stay on top of it. So I'm assuming that in the film, if she doesn't continue to
I would say if she doesn't feed in it and she just like locks it away in the basement, ignores it, then
it will come out eventually. It will find a way to haunt you at some point. Some point in time.
Correct.
So you got to be always on top of it. And I mean, that's actually the exact same way that when I used to talk to Jono about this sort of stuff. But it's the exact same way I still view depression in a way for many people.
I would say that's what the BABADOOK also represented about depression for her and her life and experience.
With her husband who passed away. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. You got to always be on top of it. You don't forget, but you move on and then it's there, but you have your own process of dealing with it.
Like a toolbox.
Yeah, you have your own toolkit with dealing with it. And for her, it's like, okay, I'm going to go down and feed it. And then,
accept her son.
Accept the whole situation. We're not the most normal family. He has his issues, but I'm going to help him with his issues. We're not going to be the most popular or have the best house or whatever their situation is. And they move on. And you accept it and you thrive in that thing. But I think that in order, and this goes for anything, whether it's your solo queue where you're at right now in the sense of your rank, in order to actually get to that next level and move on, you got to accept where you're at right now.
Absolutely. That's what I never did. I would say that last year, my ranked experience, the BABADOOK was just terrifying me I was just a night. It was literally a night. My solo queue was a nightmare experience. Like I would have good games, bad games, self-sabotaging behavior, playing like 10 games.
It's so funny you say that though, the self-sabotaging behavior, because that is the byproduct of letting it
get out of control
and letting it take over you.
And that's literally what happened in the movie. It takes over her. She kills her dog, almost kills her son, basically kills her son.
Yeah. And look, I'm seeing this right now. I got to call him out right now because I know, he listens, but I think he's a few episodes behind.
I love reading your MLA. Everyone has like a contest, like who gets caught out by Curtis.
Because honestly,
we can learn from other people.
We can learn because this is the thing is like
people deal with this. We're all dealing with it together, right?
I'm going to share in a second with my own experiences. But the thing is with Stevenator, you guys in the Midland Academy have seen him around. He's had an amazing journey in the Midland Academy so far. He's gone from like basically not knowing how to play the game in Diamond to all the way to Master Tier. He got like he was on the borderline of Grandmaster. Amazing journey. And he turns around recently and said, Curtis, I'm lost. I've got no confidence. It took him a while to submit a VOD because he said he's just been playing with low intensity. And he says, he just said, quote, I'm just doing everything worse. I'm actually just getting worse and I'm doing everything poorly and I'm lost and I don't even deserve my rank. I'm losing to diamonds. All this his self-talk is negative self-talk is out of this world right now. And look, I said to him, look, I understand we know this. The smarter you are, the more deep thinker you are, the harder it is to control your emotions sometimes because you can read into things so deep. You can think of all the reasons as to why you're losing. And
they're probably logical reasons.
But I said to him, when you have a mind like that, you have a responsibility. There's a lot of power there. So there's a lot of responsibility. You got to take control of it. You got to take control of your emotions and your mind and direct it into a certain direction. And I said to him, just because your problems feel unique, they aren't. Everyone is dealing with this exact same scenario and all that's happening, you're versing better opponents, finally. You are now getting punished for mistakes. You're having to learn new things and evolve and add new things into your mental stack. You've had a series of rough games, but your negative self-talk is out of this world. So you're losing a metric ton of confidence. And we know League is a confidence-based game. So you play a little bit worse or significantly worse because of your low confidence. And that matters a lot in Master Tier. And then he just spirals out of control. I said to him, look, Steve, there's nothing special going on here. You are playing with low confidence. You're having to learn new things. And you are overcomplicating the entire process. And your lack of confidence shows to me that you don't really understand the process that's at play here. I don't pull confidence out of my ass. You don't pull confidence out of your ass. You gain confidence, and I gain confidence from understanding that we're following a path, and it
takes time. You got to be patient.
Yeah, and
you make a lot of mistakes.
And our goal at the end of the day is just to express our best self. If we can express our best self again and again and again and again, okay, let's see where that can take us. And I said, that's all you got to do, Steve. You just got to express your best self and see what happens. And he's his own worst enemy. And I think it ties perfectly to the BABADOOK analogy. He has these demons in his past, and he says it haunts him in other areas of his life. His negative self-talk, his inability, his fear of failure. That's what it is, I think. For him, it's a fear of failure. He's scared of trying his best and still not getting the result that he's looking for. But that is getting in the way of him being able to see what he can and can't do. So when push comes to shove, Steve, what are you going to do? Are you going to... I mean, would you rather just continue what you're doing right now, which obviously doesn't work, and have these unrealistic expectations without following the process? Or are you going to just man up at some point and take control, follow the process, and hold yourself accountable for this negative self-talk? And I think what he has to realize is that, okay, I have a problem right now. I have some issues that I got to deal. I got to face these demons. I got to reflect on them, and I got to figure out my own toolkit to deal with it. Whether it's, okay, I don't know what his toolkit might be. I don't know the way his mind works, but he might have to catch himself. As soon as he hears himself talking negatively, he has to do something else as a result. He has to watch a certain video or listen to a certain playlist. Maybe he has to only play one block that day. Or maybe he has to spend a metric ton of time reviewing that game to see specifically what happens in game that triggers that response. He has to learn more about himself. But if he doesn't accept it, or if he doesn't...
Denies it?
If he denies it, or doesn't get into the details, or fails to get into the details, you're just not going anywhere. He's going to be there. And I've said this many times. People can be at master tier forever. You're never going to get better. And it's not because you can't.
They actually don't. They go master tier, and then they'll just go down to diamond.
Eventually, yeah. But they're not going to get to Grandmaster or Challenger, ever.
No.
And look, it's not that you cannot do it. It's not like you're incapable of doing it. But with your current view of the game, you won't. Exact same thing. Now, look, recently, it's a weekend to the 2-week challenge. I set a 2-week challenge. We do these 2-week challenges in the Midland Academy. And the first one we did was kind of like a simple 3-block review, getting people into the groove of playing blocks of 3, reviewing each game, that sort of thing. And this 2-week challenge was revolving around self-reflection. And basically the way this one works is after every single block of 3, you got to take time, 5 minutes, to reflect on your block. And it can be however you want to interpret that. I wrote like a list of questions that can get you started if you're unsure about how to reflect. But essentially, what felt good, what didn't feel good, what were some of your responses in this game, throughout this block. Just reflecting on the entire experience. Just sit back and just see what comes to you. I think I've only I've reflected on like 5 or so blocks so far.
What are some of your reflections, Curtis?
Dude, this would have to be one of the most interesting. I would say interesting is not the word. I would say
so. You didn't reflect before?
No, I would reflect. I wouldn't. No. So what would happen? The way I view it is what I did before was I would have game review. But I'm in this like this zone where it's like it's just league focused. It's just like I'm here to play and I'm here to get better at my gameplay. I'm in like this. I'm like in the zone in a way, or I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just this 3-block. This is it. But I'm not able to put the pieces together. Like every game is kind of independent of the next one, and I don't ever sit back and judge my behavior in the context of like the grand scheme of the block.
Okay.
So recently, I've had a few breakthroughs with myself, and look, I'm still doing this.
You don't randomly think about, because I randomly think about my solo queue in terms of how my journey's going, what I'm sort of fucking up. Like when I'm like cooking dinner, or like before I'm in sleep, or like I just like check like the OPGG, look at all my games and try and think back again to my reviews and be like, what was the key sort of takeaways? You don't do that?
No, I don't do that.
Really?
No, I'm so busy, dude. I just don't do that. I don't just dwell on my solo queue.
I dwell on my solo queue a lot, I think.
Right. That's something you've always been good at, though.
Yeah.
That's something you've done for ages in every aspect of your life. You're very good at using like times to reflect on things that you've done.
That's true.
That's something you've naturally done. I think it's something you've intuitively understood from a young age.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I think about it, if you're in league all the time, what do you... I guess, yeah,
I'm thinking about my program, dude. Yeah. I'm thinking about my Discord all the time. I'm thinking about replying to a trillion DMs, and I'm on the defense.
You're just on the defense, aren't you?
I'm on the defense.
That's true.
I'm thinking about my next video. I'm thinking about my next article. I'm thinking about just what I'm going to do the next morning. I'm not really, or I'm thinking about my book. I'm reading my book. Like, I'm on the defense. I'm not really thinking about my solo queue.
Yeah, got it. That makes sense. Sorry.
So anyway, recently with my reflection, or what would happen after my 3 block, I'll just do something else. Cook dinner. I got to cook for dinner, whatever it is. So I feel my breakthroughs is that these are things that I thought that I was on top of. These are things that are in my mind, if I never brought them to the surface, they actually would have gone lost. They never would have come on my radar. One of them was I truly believed that I didn't need to have a warm-up. Because I physically in the game, I don't feel any different if I play a duel. For me personally, if I warm up and I don't warm up, I can know from the beginning of my block whether I can play or not. Because if I don't feel it, I'm just not going to play. So in my mind, I thought, oh, okay, I can just go in and play. But what I've noticed in my first, sometimes even it takes 2 games for me to warm up. In not from a physical standpoint, from like a mental standpoint. I'm not in it. I don't have that like dominate opponent mentality. I don't have that like, because this is what the David Goggins thing, I think, kind of upon my reflections in these sessions, I was like, I don't have the taking souls mentality. And when I do embrace that taking souls mentality, taking soul for those of you is like a part of this book where he talks about there's like another level to just beating someone. There's like, you can just go to that next level to like demoralize your opponent in a way. I don't have that mentality when I play. But then when I do have it, it's night and day, dude. I'm a different player. And for some reason, when I verse you, I have the taking souls mentality.
Why? Because you want to beat me really bad?
Yeah. I just want to beat you so badly.
You're super focused.
So I'm super focused. And I always play out of my mind.
Yeah.
Or even when I'm on your team.
Yeah.
If I'm on your team, I'll have the taking souls mentality.
I feel like when you're on my team, you play so much worse than playing against
Really?
me. Yeah.
But I probably play better when I'm against you.
You play better, dude. I'm like, this is not Curtis. This is not what I get on my team, dude.
Like, that is true, actually.
Ungankable, fucking, literally like zero.
Yeah, you can never gank me.
No deaths, like perfect CS, like just wins a team fight and fucking loses the game, dude.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah, when I verse you, I play out of my mind. Mm-hmm. But then there's certain players as well. I had a game where, like, yesterday versus a guy from the Midland Academy. Like, I didn't play well, but my intensity was high, and I knew exactly how I needed to win the game, you know? And, like, I've noticed, and I called myself, I'm like, Curtis, why? I'm going to some games, and I'm like a fucking machine. And, like, I can feel it. I'm just, like, taking souls type thing. And then other game, I'm just a bitch. I'm actually on the defense. And usually those games, I get invaded level 1. I'm sloppy with my level 1 positioning. My like knowing exactly what wave I'm crashing, like just specific.
If you mess
things.
up those 2 things, you're fucked.
I know, that's it.
Because one sloppiness is game over.
So I had a really painful experience where I played a game where I didn't have that taking souls mentality.
Yeah.
And then what happened? I know this matchup. I know exactly. It was like Victor versus Kiana. And what you got to do is you got to build the first like 3 waves or 2 waves, harass under tower, but you got to ward before the wave crashes to poke them under tower. And if you don't, you're fucked, because when what happens, you have to make a choice. Do I poke them under tower and I don't ward, or I ward and then I can't harass the Kiana under tower? And then what happened, I decided to just poke under tower, then ward after. And then what happened, because I warded after, Kiana gets level 3 way before me, and then I just get zoned from the wave. And then I lost full control over the wave. Then my jungler gets invaded, and then we lose a 2v2, and then the game explodes. Just off that. Of one mistake of not warding as the wave was building out, because I would otherwise be able to match level 3 and Pokemon to tower and just contest, because I took Exhaust Electrocute, but I didn't. And I came out of the game, I'm like, Curtis, you know that. This is first of all not an execution problem, because I could execute that 9 out of 10 times. It's not a theory problem. I know exactly how to do this. This is just an intensity. This is just fucking getting your shit together problem.
Mm.
And the mentality heading into the game is just not the same. So then I asked myself, Curtis, what gets you into that zone? Because I'm not gonna have the luxury to verse someone I know all the time. You know, I don't do that. I don't have that. So I can, and I know how to create it as well. This is the thing. I have a series of videos that get me hyped.
Yeah.
I have my own
hype playlist. So why did you do it?
And exactly, I didn't even recognize this was at play. This is the problem.
Got it.
Until my reflection.
Yeah. All right. So then that's because, do you think, so that's not you? Do you think it's not you?
What do you mean?
Because there's like a scene from the BABADOOK again where, so when she's possessed, okay, the kid's like, I know it's not you, because she's like saying, I want to kill you. Like, it's not you, it's not you. And then she like vomits it out, the BABADOOK out. And that's when she's finally confronted it. Actually, no, there's a scene she goes upstairs and then she confronts it and then it goes to the basement.
Right.
Is that the same sort of thing there going on there? Like, do you think that's, I mean, I guess it's sort of like, it's not you at your best.
It's not me at my best.
So it's like, it's not you.
Yeah. And I mean, and like, look, if I didn't reflect, like if I didn't accept it was there, I'm just not going to get better. Because sometimes I guess what intuitively the way I felt was that it was random, that I didn't have control over it. That was my subconscious and like, Curtis, that's
the
just
intensity
part. Yeah.
I
think that, and I never brought it to the forefront. Like, Curtis, you actually do have control over your intensity if you really want to.
Absolutely do.
You can easily. You just got to figure out your own way to figure out what works for you, right? And yeah, it was just that was one thing, and I that's something I'm working toward. And right now, so what I'll do is like, so I stream on the Discord, I'll mute earlier. I'll try to mute earlier in Champ Select, and I'll try and play a specific song or like my playlist that will get me hyped. Yeah. Usually it's like either like a Gary V thing or like a Kobe Bryant thing or a Bruce Lee thing or a David Goggins thing. I've like a certain videos that like really get me hyped about like that intensity, you know? And then the other thing that I realized upon reflection that I didn't realize was that certain players affect me.
So we've had this discussion before. You keep saying it doesn't.
Yeah, I thought it didn't.
You've been in denial, you think?
Because this ties into that last thing, which my intensity lowers and I play differently. And it's not because I'm scared of them. And because I really dwelled on this. I'm like, what is it? What specifically is happening? Because it's affecting my gameplay one way or another. That's a fact. But but sometimes it does as well, and other times it doesn't. So first things first, the way it affects my play is that I will call less things. I will play in a way that's just like just less confidence. Like I won't trust my instincts. Like when I know where, like usually I'll know where the jungler is and I'll be confident in dodging a skill shot. So I'll bitch it and I'll walk backwards, things like that. Yeah, it's like usually like very little things that add up. They just really mean a lot in the grand scheme of a game. And then I thought about it more. I'm like, okay, what is affecting me specifically? So I thought of a name tag. This player. I said, okay. I know they're not. It's not like they're just that. It's not like they're just better than me. It's not like they're just like this insane player. Talented. No, it's nothing to do with that. It's not their rank that scares me. They're like the same rank as me essentially. It's literally, it's sometimes even lower rank than me. So it's not that. It's, I think what it was, look, the one part of it is that they're very vocal. So if they
can get to you with their words.
Yeah, like if I see one thing, because I know they're so immature that like, and they don't take responsibility, but like in a way it infuriates me. But the fact that it infuriates me it has to be a sign of insecurity.
That's correct.
Because I'm caring about their opinion.
Yeah.
Because if I was very or confident or secure in myself and my level of play, I wouldn't care. Like I wouldn't actually care what they thought of me. But I'm not actually that confident right now in my level of play and the way I'm expressing the League of Legends that I am playing, like my output. So it's affecting me. And the times where it doesn't affect me is when I'm very confident in what my output is. I'm very confident in my ability to express my best League of Legends. No matter who I'm versing, it doesn't fucking matter. I've had this feeling many times last year, especially when I was at my best, when I was top 10, dominating really good players. I felt like I knew that I was capable of playing beautiful League of Legends. So it didn't matter who you put in front of me.
So right now you think you're not?
I'm not capable of playing beautiful League of Legends. I've proven it to myself I'm not. Because I'm just making very basic mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's ugly.
Yeah.
And then I was okay, Curtis, then why am I not able to play beautiful League of Legends? And then it all ties to this very toxic circle I'm in right now where I don't have enough time to play enough games. now I've realized I have to play blocks on weekend, so I'm playing blocks on weekend. Even playing blocks on a weekend, I can only play max, 8 blocks a week. Which, what's that? 8 times 3? It's 24 games a week, that's just baseline, you know? It's like, it's not that much. When you're playing at this level of play, if you want to get to like going from 900 LP to like 1200 LP, you got to be playing minimum 2 blocks a day at minimum. And, and I'm just not able to play 2 blocks a day with my current schedule. So that is hurting my confidence. I know deep down that I'm looking at the challenge ladder. I'm seeing these players, they've got 1,000 games, 1,500 games. I'm on 380 games played. I'm not even 400 games played. So I'm versing someone that's played 4 times the amount of games played as me at this level of play. That means a lot.
It does.
Just situations and confidence.
They'll be more confident in certain situations that you'll fuck up.
Skirmishing. That's where things are getting fucked up. And so I'm not playing enough of the game. And look, that may not matter when you're playing at a very suboptimal level, right? You're playing at gold or plat, or even diamond. It doesn't matter. But like we're at a level where like we're versing.
No, it still does matter.
It does matter, yes, but at the same time, playing an extra 1,000 games at a challenger level,
it does. It makes a huge difference.
It's a huge difference because the quality of your opponents are so much better. So that actually impacts me at a subconscious level as well. I know subconsciously that I'm not putting in the work comparatively to these players. And I think that's what at the end of the day, because last season I played way more solo queue. I was playing like 2 blocks a day.
Yeah. You're playing a shit ton.
I was playing a metric ton of solo queue last year because I was just doing YouTube videos and stuff. So
you've come to accept that players do affect you. Certain players' names. Or when
and this is what I'm continuing this reflection. I don't know where this is going to take me, and I don't have the solution for this yet. I've got to figure out my own toolkit. So the way I've got to view it now is, okay, how can I play more blocks, which now I'm going to play on weekends. That's my one thing. And I think I could probably get at least, I'm going to try and get 4 blocks a weekend in. I'm going to try. That's my goal. If I can get 4 blocks on a weekend, that's definitely going to make huge improvements on my level of play. I will also say I need to make up for what my lack of games with sheer intensity. I need to make sure it's not if I need to make sure each and every one of my games that I play is worth 2 of someone else's. It needs to be so high intensity, so high focus that I'm just learning so much more. And I've already proven that. The fact that I'm at my level of play.
That's what I say as well. People say, I don't have many games and stuff. Well, that's what I say. It's like, my goal, and this is actually just more of a mindset as well.
Yeah.
Every one game I play, I will learn more from that game than 3 games of the average player.
Right, and if we did that, right, then
more games,
you could make. With a bit of more games, you could make up for the difference.
That's right, yeah.
But I've done both. I've played a lot of my games were probably low intensity.
Got it.
And I haven't played much. So it's the worst combo. So then I looked at it and then how can I flip this? Do the David Goggins flip? How can I flip this in a positive way? Well, fuck me. Getting to the LP I'm at right now, considering my low intensity, low amount of games played, is impressive in itself. So what if? In other David Goggins, what if? What could I do if I up my games and up my intensity? So that's kind of like, again, this all spawned from the reflection. I never would, if I didn't face this stuff.
Find out what fucked up things are in your head.
Yeah, what fucked up things are running in the background. Like, it's like in the computer, like the
task manager.
Like, fucking delete this shit, dude.
I'll say one thing I've started to slip up on is caring about the LP.
Oh, really?
On my main account. I've actually been playing on my Smurf a lot. And this is my excuse, right?
I don't like this, Nathan. I'm
learning new champs, right? Learning new playstyle, and now I'm so like, because I didn't.
You're in a hole. You're going to be in a huge hole.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm in a hole. That's what I'm saying. The BABADOOK right now is fucking running rampant right now, dude. Okay, because I didn't feed I had it unchecked. I was feeding in the not caring about LP in the basement for a long time. Like the process and stuff, but like now it's like
it's out of control.
Because the worst thing right now is I'm on the cusp of challenger, right?
Stop thinking about that.
I know, this is problem. This is the problem. Like I'm literally ranked 50. I'm dead on the 50th spot.
I always see because I check over you. It's like you go below. on it and a little bit below. You always in and out. You're going in and
no,
out.
No, I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked. So I'm trying to I'm just having all these excuses. I just gotta, I'm all fucked. Right now, the BABADOOK is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
So
Nathan, and it's not going to get better until you play on your main.
I know, that's right. I know that.
The longer you play on your Smurf, you're actually in denial mode.
I am. I'm in denial. That's what I'm saying. I'm fucked. My season might be over. I might have had my career peak this season.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, when I was just
killing it.
I was killing in the process.
And the meta was perfect and everything as well.
Everything was aligning.
Every stars were aligned.
And then it's just a shit show. So we'll see how we go. I'll give everyone an update, but I feel like it's going to take me a couple of weeks. But the thing is I'm playing, I am in, 100 LP master on my Smurf, right?
It doesn't matter, Nathan. You know this. The quality of opponents is so different.
But I'm playing to these champ identities pretty well, but the quality of opponents
is different. Because what people don't understand right now, the way the ladder works is that at Challenger, and I actually had this before, someone said this in my Discord. So the difference between my rank, so I'm rank 30 and rank 1 is 800 LP. 800 LP. So think about that. That is the difference between gold 4 and diamond 4.
Yeah.
Between my rank and rank 1.
And you're doing it on hard mode.
And you're playing those games in hard mode, right? In Challenger games. So you got to put that in perspective. Bottom of Challenger and
you
the
mean
top
Masters here?
No, I'm talking just Challenger now. Just bottom of Challenger to the top of Challenger LP is a huge difference in the quality of the players.
Yeah.
It's massive, dude. And dude, this ties into one of the questions we were going to talk about today was Tyler 1. The whole Tyler 1, he played how many games a day?
He's 28 games.
Played 28 games in a day.
Yeah.
And people say, but look, Tyler 1 got
he's the opposite of whatever we will talk about. Right. It's how is he good at the game?
Well, he played 28 games in a day. It was streamed a metric ton of hours. He just grinds. Doesn't review, just grinds, right? And he got bottom of Challenger.
Yeah.
But we need to go deep on this because look, I don't know how to phrase this in any other way. And this is going to sound very elitist. And I hate sounding
Curtis.
like this.
God damn it, Curtis.
But bottom of Challenger...
Oh, no.
In a region like NA, same as OCE. I'm not saying NA is any different. Same in any other of these lower regions. Bottom of Challenger in NA or bottom of Challenger in OCE, bottom of Challenger in all these other regions, minus China and Korea. And I would say minus EU as well. If you get Challenger in EU, that's definitely good. Is not that impressive. The level of play that I've seen, we both, because we coach a lot of high elo NA. And I've seen the quality of the players at the bottom of NA. The level of play isn't high. And look, yes, you're going to say, but it's all relative,
God damn it, Curtis.
And I understand. And I don't know how else to articulate this.
Yeah. So you think it's not that impressive of an achievement from Taiwan? You think that that's doable if you just play
a metric ton of games?
The philosophy is you throw enough shit at a wall, eventually it sticks.
That's right. I literally said that to someone who asked me, what are your thoughts on this? I said, throw enough shit at a wall, and eventually some of it will stick. But a few things we've got to keep into account here. One, he's been playing the game for a very long time.
That's right.
Thousands upon thousands of games.
Yes.
He's a pretty good, he's definitely got the intensity, dude.
He does have the intensity.
He has that
intensity. He wants to dominate his opponent.
Yeah, he does have that intensity. Yeah. He doesn't play like a bitch. He has that intensity. He's what you call those natural gamers, you know what I mean? But also, he will be so beyond capped. I could bet any amount of money that he could never get top 10.
No, I agree.
I would bet any amount of money.
Yeah.
He could never be a pro player.
Yeah.
No matter how, even from now, he would have ingrained so many bad habits that it doesn't matter how much he played. He could never get to a very, very high level of play. He'll cap out a low chal. That's it. You can get your low challenger, but you will not get any higher because you just get weirded out at that point. And then again, we know the difference between low challenger.
It's big.
It's massive.
1,000 LP. I think it would never get 1K LP.
No, impossible.
Yeah.
And, and that's fine. If his goal was to get challenger, he can go for that. But this also, it's like a word of warning. It's like, those people that they do something incredibly dangerous and get away with it.
I should do that as well. That's a good idea.
But it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like
he got results from it. Why can't I?
You know, so it's like, I don't like the message. Look, he's not even trying to send a message. He's just doing him, right?
He's doing him, yeah.
But people will follow because he's a big role model.
Yeah, he has like 30k views, 40k views, dude.
I've seen people do this. We've seen people do this, and they're stuck in bronze.
Yeah, their views of the game are so distorted. It's like what we talked about. Was it the Patrick episode? We said why we don't coach silver and bronze because
your view of the game can be beyond repair.
It's beyond repair.
Yeah. Yep. So look, I wouldn't read too much into it. Some people it can work.
Yep.
But it will only get you so far, is what I'm going to say. Okay. Anything else before we move on? On what we just spoke about? By the way, you might need to try the reflection thing. And again, even if you're not in the Midland Academy, or even if you're not doing the challenge, you don't want to do it.
I do reflect on this.
That's what I'm saying. You do it automatically, but for the people who don't, I highly recommend it. Give it a crack.
Self-sabotaging.
5 minutes. Basically, I actually write down my reflections, pen and paper. I write down all of them.
That's a good idea.
In a notepad. You don't have to do it like that. I left it very open-ended, however you want to do it. But it has given me, it has been very useful for me. I'm assuming it's going to be useful for some of you other guys out there. Guys and girls, sorry. So,
I guess what I would wrap up this segment on is, what's in your, going back to the Babadook metaphor, what's in your basement? What do you need to stay on top of? For me, I would say it's caring about the LP. And I guess right now, for me at least. For you, maybe it's like denying.
Oh, no, for me, it's thinking I'm special.
Thinking you're special, got it.
I still have to stay on top of my intensity. I have to do a warm up. I have to have my own toolkit. Like, I can't just play and just like get to the goal I want to get to. Like, I gotta get my shit into you. I gotta raise my intensity. I'm not some special superhuman dude that can just jump onto a 3 block and then piss off and then, you know.
You're Coach Curtis.
You know, I can't do that. It can only get me so far.
Yeah.
So I've reached my cap.
Yeah.
I'm hard stuck 850 LP, you know. Yeah. I need to go to the next level. In order to go to the next level, I need to take responsibility for my intensity. No one else is going to do it for me.
So that's the question. What's in your basement that you need to feed and not ignore and deny? And what do you need to accept? What's haunting you?
There's shit out there, man. Everyone's like, again, we're just the biggest David Goggins fanboys.
We are, aren't we?
Ever. But like, I recall distinctly there's him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Because I've re-listened to that podcast like 1 trillion times.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, Joe Rogan was saying how he has ultra runners on. He's had a few ultra runners on his podcast. And Joe Rogan was saying, but this girl, like, he had a girl on that won an ultra race by like 20 miles or something. And Joe Rogan was saying how, but she didn't have a demon. Like, I couldn't see the demon. And then Joe Rogan was like, but she's got one. And then David Goggins was like, yeah, she's got one. Everyone's got him. They just don't want to admit the shit, but they got him. Like, everyone's got him. Everyone's got a demon, dude. Yeah. Some people don't want to admit it, but everyone's got a demon, dude. And David Goggins uses these demons to fuel him.
That's right. That's the incredible thing about David Goggins' story.
By the way, just before we move on to the segment, I did a little in-house workout. When was this?
Because of our quarantine COVID.
Yeah, I did a little workout yesterday.
Yeah.
It was yesterday. Like a body weight thing. Like a HIIT workout. Dude, I had to go into the trenches, dude, to like...
Those are
brutal. Those burpees things.
Yeah.
Like, I did one where it was 20 burpees, 20 push-ups, a minute plank, and you just keep doing it. It is brutal, dude.
Yeah.
I had to go deep to like keep going. Pure pain. Highly recommend those HIIT workouts, man.
What's the HIIT stand for?
High intensity interval training, I think. All right. So I've had this requested a few times, talking about the whole Oceanic special with King recently been promoted.
Congratulations, man.
Props to him, dude. What a beast.
Wow.
I mean, it was inevitable, right? Everyone kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, his trajectory, he's a great player.
There are people say, so the thing about Cal, I mean, so we technically we started Calvin's career. Is that what you'd say with
the
Dials?
Internet Cafe, dude.
The Internet Cafe, right?
Yep. So I'm at the McNet.
Yeah. When's this? 2013.
But he wasn't old enough to play.
That's right.
Because I've said this story before. Just to recap for those who did miss over the episode, like basically we're at like an Internet Cafe tournament in Melbourne. and I like looked over and I saw this little Asian kid, and I was just looking at while we're waiting for like our next game, and I was like looking at him, and he was an 80 carry, and like his movement was like insane. Like he was like
his clicks
and like his micro was just fucking out of this world, dude. Like I'd never seen anything like it. And then I'm like, who is this guy? And I looked at the name tag, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. I think at this time his
best 80 odds, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like, no, but it was like FPG, Frostbite Gaming.
Got it.
Best AD or something, right? Got him some best AD. It was platinum. I think it was plat 1 at the time.
Yeah.
And he was, pretty low rank at the time. And this is when we were at our peak, dude. This is when we were like high challenger, like top 10, rank 1 type shit. And like, dude, I want to play with this guy as soon as he gets old enough, because he wasn't old enough to play pro. Like he was 15?
Yeah, he would have been 15.
He was 15. He needed to be 16, right?
Yeah.
And we needed to wait, so we waited for him to get 16. As soon as he hit 16, no one knew of him. But boom, picked him up. And then...
So I remember when we formed Dials, he was originally on our roster, but because he wasn't old enough to play in the tournaments, we had to get Chuffer.
Right.
Remember? He had to play for the Cyber Gamer thing. And also, it was PAX as well and stuff. He wasn't old enough to compete
we tried
in the
to play with Calvin, but he couldn't.
Yeah, the Riot Games tournaments.
Yeah.
But then when he was old enough,
instantly got
OPL
him.
2015, instantly got him. We finished second
he was
that
a
first
good
split, 2015.
player, man. And then he got out of control then. Like he just snowball effect.
That's right.
He's an amazing player. So, yeah, we already knew that Calvin eventually.
Yeah, so he's not an amateur. People are saying he's like an amateur.
Dude, he is an OG. He's a veteran.
He's been to how many worlds in MSIs?
He's been to 20. He went to 2016, didn't he?
2016.
Didn't he? So he played with Legacy. Well, they lost.
But they never
Legacy.
won. They always lost to
won.
Chiefs. Yeah.
So he went to Worlds in MSI in 2017. He went to Worlds in MSI in 2018.
With us.
He went to
Worlds in
Mammoth
2019. Didn't make MSI. Yeah.
And then he went overseas.
And then played with Academy.
C9 Academy. And then in between there, how many he's been on so many Korean boot camps, it's out of this world. He's been in like, I mean, you could probably say at least 10 Korean boot camps.
He's a very developed player.
He's one of the most personally developed. He's been through everything.
Yeah.
He was in a gaming house from the age of like 16, 17, wasn't he? He went to the Legacy gaming house at like 17.
18, 19, yeah.
Dude, he is like one of the most coached 80 carries. He's had like Lucio coach him through Soul Strikes, me coach him for 2 years. He's had Rich Fantix, another amazing coach. He's had 3 of the best Oceanic coaches coach him hardcore for like 4 or 5 years. It's incredible the amount of development that kid has had, which actually kind of tied. Well, I mean, I didn't know where this conversation was going to go, but I think this makes a lot of sense as to why we're seeing so many OCE players.
OCE ADCs. How interesting is this? I was thinking before, if you want to watch bot lane in the LCS right now, just go to OPL 2017.
Yeah, OPL 2017, yeah.
FBI. So Raze was on...
he's on Immortals now.
But he was on Chiefs.
Yeah,
in 2017. And then FBI was on Sin Gaming. And
FBI now plays for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and now he plays for 100 Thieves. And then Lost was on Legacy,
and he's
TSM, and then King was with us,
Direwolves, and now... Yeah, it was in 2017 OPL. So competitive.
There was a great comment I saw on the thread. People saying how far ahead Radia must have been.
Yeah, Radia.
Wow. So Radia retired.
So Radia, to give context, was his other OCE 80 carry that was like a little bit before like he didn't play OPL really. He played like one split, didn't he?
No, 2015, he won 4 times when Chiefs won back to back 4 years. Right. No, 2 years. So 2 years, 4 splits.
So he was the original best 80 carry in Oceania.
And this was like a fucking gap, dude.
But was like the biggest skill gap you've probably ever seen in a region. You could possibly get.
Yeah.
Like he was rank 1 and no one was even close.
Yeah.
And the gap was so big they literally called it the if you versed him, you were terrified, and it was called the Radia effect.
The Radia effect.
If he was if he was on the enemy team, you played worse because you were just so scared. And if he was on your team, everyone played good because you feel so confident. You're like, holy shit, I have his Corky. Remember his Corky?
No, he's Lucian. That's
Lucian.
What
I just remember his Cogmore as well. Like he was just really good.
Anything.
Play everything. His Jinx was really good. And yeah, this guy was like insane. And I mean, everyone said, I think Spawn said it really well. I think Spawn had been praised Radia for many times. Spawn said if he played international, he would have.
He was LCS caliber.
LCS by far.
100% and back
easily LCS caliber.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting?
But picking up O's players was just a never do that.
Nah, you'd never. You know? But you know what's interesting is that he actually came back. He plays solo queue.
Here and there.
Occasionally. He does, like, because he quit to be a stock trader. He like trades stock. He's like he worked in didn't he go to New York? He worked at like a New York stock.
I actually don't know.
I thought he actually went to New York or whatever.
I think he's done a lot of things.
Anyway, he I saw him in solo queue like
really?
It was last year. It was
like
last year.
Yeah, last year.
And he was like he got I think he was master. Or I think it was master tier. So imagine that, just casually picking up the game, just don't play it for like 5 years, and then like come back and just get master tier.
Yeah.
And he didn't play that many games. Like he could probably get challenger again if he really wanted to, just because he's mechanically
his approach to the game as well.
Mentality.
He was not like any other pro player.
No, I've never seen a pro player like that in my life.
He very.
The only one closest to him was Fudge.
Yeah,
Fudge would be the closest mentality wise to Radio, because Fudge had a weird maturity, not like from a personality standpoint, but an approach, a respect for the craft, and like he had a very serious approach to the role and his improvement. He had a very, very serious approach, and look, I'm always gonna praise Fudge. I mean, Fantix for Fudge. I mean, he
did a great job.
I think no one talks about this. No. And Fantix is behind the scenes. Fantix made Fudge.
Yeah.
Fantix single-handedly, in my opinion, made Fudge. You think
so?
I think
Fudge, he helped a lot.
I don't think Fudge would have made it.
He was pretty good.
He would have eventually, but he would no way have made it when he did.
He's the next up-and-coming kid.
With Fudge.
In no solo queue, he was
because so Fantix works now with FlyQuest Academy as their coach, and he personally coached Fudge for like a year individually. He made him who he was, dude. Because Fantix was the only other coach at the time could coach individual. Yeah. He was the best individual coach at the time.
Yeah.
And Fudge him got along like really, really well.
Butt buddies.
Because Fantix understood top lane really well.
Yeah, because he
played Jax and like all those champions. Yeah. So like he taught him individually incredibly well.
Yeah. And
he instilled a mentality of the focus on the micro. So in my opinion, that's probably one of the most pure examples of individual coaching getting someone to pro. In RS anyway. Probably in other regions it might have happened. But look, okay, let's break down then why. So we've got King now to C9. Imagine that, Sven.
I never expected it.
Sven, one of been semi-final. He's been at semi-finals of Worlds, hasn't he?
He was in the finals with MSI Origin.
Right.
Was
that? I thought he was Origin. That was MSI. I thought.
I think he has been as Worlds as well.
I thought it was Origin. They made semi-finals. I thought they made
semi-finals Worlds, and then but also the finals of MSI.
Right. So he's one of the most experienced
80 carries.
80 carries. Think about some not random, but 80 carry from Oceania.
Yeah.
So let's go a little bit deeper.
What does this mean?
What does this mean? Like how is this possible? Because theoretically this defies all laws of because they always say bigger server means better players means look. No one actually, the people that theorize on Reddit, they don't actually know the amount of what went in behind the scenes in 2017, 2018 in OPL. That was 2 years. They were very special years.
We were fucking trying. Everyone was trying hard.
I can't describe the intensity, the feeling, that the aura, the vibe, the competitiveness was out of this world. So to give a bit of context, so 2017 was the first year where every team in OS had
gaming houses. We had the opportunity full time, and that was everyone's dream.
Everyone's dream, because we OS had no resources to holy shit, everyone can go gaming house that. In our mind, that was insane.
Yeah.
So I think it was a turning point where everyone was like, wow, this is a real thing. Finally,
and we got the world spotters,
and we had the world spot,
and the MSI thing that changed the whole thing.
That changed the whole thing. Everyone was so motivated, but we actually at the time, because we had never had the gaming house, I guess we never knew how good we were.
That's right.
Or bad we were in a way. So it's everyone had that youthful optimism. It's holy shit.
And no one was doing it for any money. There was not really any money.
No one really was making money.
No.
It was purely okay, we're going to go in here and everyone wants to go to Worlds and MSI. Yeah. That is it.
Yeah.
Scrims were intense as fuck. We're doing 3 scrim blocks a day, mainly.
Yeah.
Everyone, everyone was playing solo queue after scrims every night.
That's right.
There was no even having to tell someone to play solo queue. They were just playing solo queue.
Yeah.
Every player at our team was trying to get like the top 5 slots. Every week was intense. The competition was fierce.
Emotional breakdowns.
Dude, everyone was trying hard, as hard as you possibly could.
You definitely knew that when we went to Rift Rivals. Remember Rift Rivals with in Vietnam,
right?
In Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah,
you could tell that's when we were all OCE. We didn't win that, but
OCE was really trying. We actually took it very seriously, and like everyone was trying hard. And on top of that, there was a lot of investment. Many teams went to Korean boot camps. We went Korean boot camp at the start of 2017.
We were the first OCE team to ever do a Korean boot camp.
I think one team went in the middle. Didn't Chiefs go to Korea in the middle of the year?
Legacy did as well.
Two teams went, I think, in the middle. 3 teams maybe even. I think Sin might even win or something. There was the amount of investment. Those 2 years were just fierce. And I think that at the time, it's like it's kind of like what if mentality. What if we just do this? What if we come in with the mentality that we can be a globally competitive team? Like, what would happen if we were to try? And I think in the process of trying, we
failed, obviously.
We failed, but the quality of the improvement with the players was far superior to any development you could get anywhere else because they were so hungry. They weren't just getting a paycheck. They were to give a bit of context to the living situation as well. One of the rooms, there was 3 people sleeping in one room. We had there was 2 single beds and one sleeping on the floor.
That was Destiny.
No, Chippy's was it?
No, Chippy's. No,
Destiny was sleeping on the floor.
King and
Chippy. So think about that room, single room. Think about that house. 2017 house. We had in Direwolves. We had in one room Destiny, now NALCS.
Yeah.
Chippies, they actually just lost the collegiate finals today. So NA they came second in the collegiate. Did you watch that?
No.
That was on this morning. They lost 3-1.
Oh Jesus.
And then King now play for C9. The other room was Schernfire and Fantix. Fantix, one of the best players in OCE history. Again, could have easily went international if he really wanted to, but then coach won OCE in 2019, and then also now coaches in FlyQuest Academy in NA. Schern, everyone knows Schern, his story, played in C9, all that sort of thing. Now C9 Academy.
Team Liquid,
so on and so forth. Our analyst, Jack Kaiser, now the head analyst from TSM.
Been a Fnatic, made it to Team Liquid finals at MSI.
And then me and you.
Yeah.
That one house. That every single person from that one house has gone on to do pretty remarkable stuff.
Everyone has a career in esports.
Everyone has a well-grounded career in League of Legends esports, which is hard to do.
That's pretty interesting. That's actually really interesting.
How interesting is that one house?
And then a lot of people from other teams as well, international.
Think about the other teams, dude. Again, you look at all the Ryan, the FBI, the Lost. Everyone. Spooks, all international coaches. Spooks international coaches. Swiffer, Swiper, Choo-Choo's. Majority of the OPL at that time has all gone on overseas to make a career. It's remarkable. And Triple. All of them. And so I think
all the top players in 2017,
all the top players in basically have gone. NA have taken every bit of talent from OCE.
Yeah. Even Spawn as well.
Even Spawn. Papa Smithy.
Yeah.
Even the casters.
Yeah.
Atlas. All the casters from OCE.
So you just think that OCE just want it more?
So we just had... even the casters had a hunger. Think about it.
Yeah.
Papa Smithy and Atlas and...
they grinded.
And what's the other dude?
Pastry Time.
They all grinded.
For years.
Spawn. They all grinded for years, making dick all money. So we had this hunger that was... You can't replicate that.
Nah.
And I think what happened over time with those, another problem is that the hunger's gone. Because it's like, well, what's the point? Like all the best players are gone. And
our league's really low level now.
Yeah, because the up and coming talent just wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And there's like a gap. There was some good players left, but they just lost their hunger. And then it just turned into like mediocre city, And look, it's a shame because I think if it was done sustainably, and they didn't just pick everyone in like 1 year, like it probably could have worked in a weird way as like a feeder system, but they didn't. Yeah. You can't just take every single player from the entire like league and just like say, okay, Okay, it's kind of like the fishing thing. It's like commercial fishing. We're just gonna take everyone, dredge the ground up.
The fish can't like mate with other fish and stuff like that. Yeah.
And that period of time, it was just grinding.
It was good. That was definitely the glory years of OCE.
And think about that. I remember at the time I was making $8,000 a year. $8,000 a year.
Yeah.
In 2017.
Yeah.
Didn't give a fuck, dude.
No. We were just loving it.
Dude.
We were having a lot of fun. Dude.
So much fun. International. It was just so much fun. That time, dude. And I think that is what now people say, okay, we've got all this OCE talent. It's kind of exhausted.
Yeah, because we put so much boot camps. And
I mean, the teams aren't doing the same amount of boot camps. No. The teams aren't.
Yeah, the resources have gone down.
The resources have gone down. They're not going up.
Online. Like,
they're playing online. You just can't.
It's so hard to get better when you play online.
So look, people who say, "Oh, these OCE talent," they're not. No, dude, these are well trained, coached, and even the coaches were great, dude. A lot of them have gone overseas, and they were good coaches. They understood the game. So it makes sense.
What does this mean for NA? What does it mean for NA? The NA players. So this is what it means: is that the players, like, why? So think about it, that's so many slots from NA resident players that are just
like
gone.
DeMonte, and I saw that DeMonte. I saw he's going to content
creation.
Yeah. They just like go to streaming and shit, just for fun gaming.
God, man, it's
no. What I think it is as well, Nathan. I think let's rather than just being a running commentary of what happened. Let's break down what does this mean from like how could we replicate this or why? What did OCE have that NA didn't? Why was NA not? Why is every other region?
NA had too much money. They were rewarded for no results.
So they were rewarded for the output like
that's one of the most dangerous things. Get rewarded for no results, right? And it was just, I saw one of the comments, at the end of the day, what NA really was just a dick measuring contest to see who could spend more money on the better imports, right?
Right. Bloody hell, man. Do you think the damage has been done, or do you think they can turn it around?
Well, again, it goes back to our philosophy, Curtis, is that you can't improve as a region unless your solo queue's top tier. So yeah, you can fix it, but you'd have to change the whole.
Yeah.
You'd have to rebuild solo queue by not scrimming.
All right, so that's that. So hopefully that answers the question as to why the imports are so good and why we probably won't see. Look, you might get the odd OCE import. Like I think there are like a handful, like 3 of them at the moment that could probably be imported quite easily over to academy or something like that. But outside of that, no. I think that like the talent pool is largely exhausted, and the mentality that a lot of the players have anymore is just night and day.
Yeah.
Like you just look at the solo queue now to what it used to be. It's just a different ball game. So I wanted to talk about the mid jungle thing, not mid jungle, the jungle swap thing. So
there's been 2 jungle swaps, is there?
There was Fnatic.
Yeah, the Whippo to jungle.
Right. There was... What was the other one? There was another
Treats?
team.
Was it
Yeah, was that SK? Was that SK?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
There was another one. And I saw a funny tweet. It was a tweet from I Will Dominate. And look, I'm going to paraphrase here. It wasn't exact word by word, but it was something like, I can't wait till Lee Sin something meta until when all the junglers get exposed and they realize how not brain dead the role is or something like that.
Yeah.
Like how hard the role really is. And I had a giggle because I think it's completely the opposite. And I think I Will Dominate is the perfect example of someone that's living in the past. And again, the BABADOOK, it's kind of like the BABADOOK analogy in a weird way. It's kind of like haunts him.
Yeah.
But he can't accept reality.
Yeah, that laners can't just come into the jungle.
I think we're going to see it a lot more often.
I think so as well. I think it...
Because you're just at a disadvantage being a jungler.
If you're only a jungler, you've only played jungle. Like you're just
done.
There's so many examples. Like Ambition moving to jungle, world champion.
Pabu,
right?
Even Pabu.
Pabu from OCE moving to jungle.
Pabu from top to jungle, best jungler.
Best jungler in OCE, right? You played jungle for a little bit.
challenges jungle within
very
like
quickly,
a very
couple
short
of
period of
months,
time.
Okay,
there's just no competition.
if I went to lane, it would take me probably a year or multiple years to get to a challenger.
Junglers can't go to lanes,
no.
but laners can easily go to jungle.
And that says something about the role. Yeah. And all all jungle is it's game knowledge. Like it's not it's just game knowledge, and you can pick that up and just learn that stuff, and you have that extra element of understanding when a lane is fucked. You can punish them.
You understand. So the way I view it is that imagine like there's like a campaign, and the campaign represents all, and like along the way there's like, say there's like 5 acts. The 5 acts, in a way, are like the 5 main jungle fundamentals that you need to learn, and then you've mastered the role. Yeah. Right? But the way I view it, that's what a jungle, when you learn jungle, say you're from the beginning, you learn these 5 acts, and that is it.
Yeah.
When you learn, if say you've learned another role, it's kind of like the 5 acts, but you get like an expansion pack, and you have like these extra 3 little acts on the side. Yeah. That someone who hasn't downloaded that DLC.
Yeah. The person that just bought straight up the jungle DLC, they can't. They
just don't have access to it.
They don't have access.
It's like, when like there's like a starting area, and like everyone like flexes their mount and shit, like the DLC mount, or like in PUBG when there was the the hoodie,
The hoodie.
What was it called? I can't remember what it was called.
No, they would call them pre-order
fag.
That's what they would say.
In a PUBG at the start, pre-order fags. This nonsense. And like you couldn't get that, right? It's like this dude had like this hoodie. You just can't get. That's exact same the way I interpret.
Yeah.
Jungle is playing jungle, or lane or learning jungle. You have and that extra knowledge is the lane stuff.
That's right.
The lane stuff, and there's a feeling to the lane stuff that is very different, like threat and what it actually means. Like you can learn it to a certain extent, but it's just a different thing.
Yeah.
And so like I think we're gonna see it more, and I think so as well. And I think junglers are defensive, and they're probably pissed off, but like it's just the way that it is.
A lot of junglers are gonna lose their jobs to laners moving there. I mean, you're just a better player. I mean, again, fundamentally I'm a really bad player at League of Legends because I only play jungle. I only know a certain way to win games as jungle.
Well, it doesn't make you bad. It just means you're at a disadvantage because you're very limited in your options.
That's right. That's correct.
Whereas like Pabu can win the game from a jungle perspective many differing ways. You can't win the game like that.
No.
It doesn't mean you can't climb, but it just means that you're very limited, and you have to be very good at your thing. He can actually just be average at like 80% competence at like all these other things, but he can just pick and choose which ones he needs to apply in each game, and it's such a big advantage.
It is.
So like, I just think we're going to see that more. Do you think what are other roles? I think we're also going to see a lot of mid to support.
Yep.
I think mids can support very well.
Yeah.
And we've already seen that. I think it was 100 Thieves.
Who he did that.
Who he did that.
He had a pretty good results as a support.
You know who else who did that?
I guess Aframu to support. He was a Division 80 ADC player a really long time ago.
What was it called? His name was Busio. He actually watched my content as a mid laner. He was a challenger mid laner in NA. And he was actually applying for 100 Thieves Academy. And then I think it was Academy or the amateur or their whatever it was. And then Papa Smithy spoke to him. And then Papa Smithy said, look, I think it's better if you actually, like, there's so much mid talent, but you've got a really good eye for the game, and like your understanding of the game is really good. You should actually role swap to support. And he role swapped to support, got challenger to support, and now he's like killing it as a support player.
There you go.
100 Thieves.
Have we ever seen a jungle have moved to a lane and then be successful? Have we ever seen a support move to lane and be successful? I don't think we ever have.
Well, again, I'm not really up to date with other regions, so like I can't.
I'm just trying to think about.
I'm thinking from OCE. I'm thinking from OCE perspective, like.
No. Destiny was originally a laner. He moved to support.
Yeah, Destiny was a 80 carry, wasn't he? Was a jungler? No, he was a jungler. Destiny was a jungler, wasn't
he? No, he was more mid laner. No,
he
was a mid laner. Yeah. Yeah, right. I remember he was a mid laner.
Right. What about Rosie? What was he?
Yeah, he switched to lane. I wouldn't say he had a success.
He doesn't care. He didn't count. Yeah. So, look, I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's definitely not impossible, but you're at a disadvantage.
I agree.
It'll be interesting to see what in the future. Or maybe what we even see is maybe we see people retiring into a certain position. Maybe we see laners
retire in
like mid laners retire into a support role.
Yeah.
potentially, because they have the knowledge. They're like, but they just can't keep up, like micro-wise or something. I don't know. But they want that leadership, so they just whip them into support. I don't know. That'd be an interesting concept to talk about. Imagine if you had like this leader, like a Bjergsen, and Bjergsen just didn't want to play mid. He's like burnt, but he has that competitive intensity still. Boom, chuck him into your support role. I think
Bjergsen could be a great jungler.
Excellent jungler and excellent support.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting concept to talk about.
It would.
That would have been a better role swap than him from being
to a coach. There's more impact in the game.
I mean, I think it would have been a smoother transition for him in a weird way as well. Like if he wanted to be a coach in the long run. And that's something that I don't understand. If you want to be a coach as a player, you should milk the amount of years you are as a player, I think. The longer you can be a player, the better.
Did you make more money?
No, just from a experience and maturity standpoint. You want to just mature, because I reckon playing is the best personal development. Like you're just in it and you're learning.
In a competitive environment.
And you would also get to be under more coaches and see what you do and don't like. Like you would want to milk
experience.
More experience. You want to be older when you were a coach, I think. So I think, because it's not like coaching is going to go away. No. You can always be a coach when he's 28 or 30. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
So I'm a bit, again, I've said that many times on the podcast. I'm disappointed with his transition that early on, but it is what it is. And the last thing, was there anything else? There was one more thing about the double lift thing, right? We saw
the ping. Yeah, so watching that, I originally thought,
so what was it? First of all, what is it?
So Doublelift is saying that the ping is one of the biggest reasons why North America struggles to compete internationally, and then proposed a solution where they basically have a matchmaking. So the server, you'll get pinged,
like location based.
Yeah, so let's say if 6 people are from LA, then the server will go to LA and your ping will be like 10. Because right now the servers are in Chicago, right?
Right, and they all play from LA.
And the whole esports scene in LA is on LA. There's actually a really good point I saw on a Reddit thread today saying they have no sympathy because they had 6 years to figure out to move the whole LCS to Chicago, but they didn't want to move there because LA's fancy and get more investor money and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
Does that make sense? Because if you're worth more,
all of your facilities could have easily just moved.
Yeah, they could have figured that out 6 years ago. So he has no sympathy, which was a good point, I think.
Yeah, but if you think about it, the size of Riot Games it's a massive company.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. Yeah.
Surely, they could cater for it. I mean, I don't know how expensive.
Well, yeah, that's Double's proposal, right, about that thing. So, right. And you know what? I was watching. I was like, we've obviously had our takes, like saying, we think that you can't improve a region unless your solo queue's top tier. And to get rid of the imports and that sort of stuff, and just accept just build up, accept it over decades and stuff like that. Have more long-term sustainability rather than all this money. And I was like, all right, Doublelift, how about you get your ping, and then we can maybe that is a pretty big issue. Like what I was thinking is like,
but I do agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's big.
It is big.
So let's fix that, and then I think that all these other issues will still be around. You know what I mean?
You don't. I don't believe it to be I don't believe it to be the core problem either. But it is a big problem.
It is a big problem. And he convinced me. He was like, okay, you got me. It's like, okay. Let's
and for those of you who don't understand the importance of ping, a little micro interaction that again is going to run out thousands of times within the game in every lane. Generally, I had this conversation in the coaching session this morning. Right, dodging a skill shot. Right, in lane. Let's say this specific example was Kassadin versus Akali. Right, it's a gold review, and the reason lane positioning is so important is because let's just say Akali, you can't dodge the Q. The Q goes through minions, right? And the wave was coming into the Kassadin, and I said to him, look. You want to avoid this Q, and he was standing inside the minion wave. So his default response was to walk back. In the process of walking backwards to avoid the Q damage, you were giving space and giving Akali more control over the lane. So you can't trade back. But if you were to stand outside the wave and make Akali make a choice between you and the minion wave, 1 or 2 things will happen. Akali, or 3 things can actually happen. 1, Akali can just hit the minion wave, in which you just trade damage onto the Akali. you get a very good trade, and maybe she's too low to continue to get the wave in. 2, she chooses to not get the wave in, the wave stays where it is, and she attacks you, and you just trade damage. Or she doesn't attack anything because she's just too scared. She doesn't want to trade any damage. She doesn't have resources. Regardless, out of all those options, because you're standing outside the wave, you're not playing co-op versus AI. You're not playing who just shoves the minion wave. You're not playing ping pong with the waves. You are not giving unnecessary pressure. You are not, and you're actually engaging. And this exact scenario, let's imagine it's a skill shot this time. Let's imagine it's a, whatever, maybe like a Syndra. And let's say you're not confident in dodging the intuitively because you've played a lot of these games on 60 ping and you just don't feel comfortable dodging on 60 ping. So your default response is, you know what? I'm actually going to walk backwards instead of actually trying to contest and trust my judgment and not give pressure. So what happens is every time you walk backwards instead of trying to contest, the likelihood of it being a co-op versus AI or no trade occurring increases. So when no trades happen over time, whether it's 2 every wave or 3 every 2 waves, whatever it is, there's more pots being conserved. The laning phases get extended. So if people are higher HP, less ganks occur because junglers are less incentivized to actually gank because people are higher HP, which means there's less options, which means there's just not as many things to do, which mean the games largely revolve around team fights and objectives only. There's less 2v2s. There's less weird resets and people not being on the map. There's just less chaos. Now, this is very important for solo queue because when there's less chaos, there is less opportunity to improve skirmishing. And so the games get they're just low level. You look at Korean and Chinese solo queue. They're contesting all the time. So there's more fights, more chaos, which also impacts scrims, which also impacts in-game and your ability to skirmish on stage.
And one of his point was that's why NA's a lot slower. I think I heard it from Sword Art. Sword Art interview was saying that, you over time you do less because you can't really make these plays as well.
Yeah, you can't make exactly spot on. So games will be slower.
So over time, it starts to get in your play, and then like your reaction time, everything's just slower.
Everything's just slower over time. Yeah. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. Like slowly over time,
death
you get
by
weeded.
1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, you get weeded down. So that's the way I interpret it, and I think that is a significant problem.
I agree.
So look, I think that he has a big point, a really good point. So hopefully, I do something about it for the sake of NA, but. Like you said, I'm still not optimistic.
My thing was like, okay, I'll stop talking about all my proposed solutions. You guys fix that, and then we can talk.
Yeah. What a shit show, though, man.
It's a hot topic. Everyone loves to talk about this stuff.
They do.
What's the problem with NA?
They do.
There's like a meme saying, "What's the problem with NA?" And there's like a list of like 15 things.
God damn it, dude.
I remember seeing it. It's like a laundry list.
Think about this. Think about how many issues we had with OCE, and we didn't really, like 2017, we just made it work.
Yeah, well, Curtis, we had the ping, dude.
We had the ping. We had good ping, right?
That's why. We just answered it. That's why all our Eddie carries, the most mechanical role in the game, are over in NA because we played on 10
but
ping.
think about all the other issues that we had to deal with. Like, we had different monitors in home versus on stage.
Yeah.
One of our players was playing on a fucking TV, dude.
Widescreen monitor.
You should have seen one of the monitors one of our players, because we didn't have enough money to buy at the time, I think, monitors.
No, I think our sponsor LG only gave us those ones, and we had to use LG
monitors. Yeah. Sorry. We were sponsored by LG, so we got certain monitors that they wanted us to like show us playing on them. Yeah. And one of them was like this, like
a widescreen,
a huge curved. No, it was a huge curved one, right? Like it would look like a. I don't know, spaceship, dude. It was like this huge curved thing, and he like did a window, and it's like this little window inside this huge it's like a movie screen, like an IMAX theater.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even 144 hertz. No, it was 60 hertz. Yeah. And then on stage was like this 144 hertz, completely different monitor. Yeah. So like the whole setup was different, and he complained like we just couldn't change it.
The sun.
Oh, you had like sun beaming.
We had to have the cushions on on the windows and stuff.
Oh,
dude. It's a pretty
think about the setup that we had compared to the orgs nowadays.
Mm.
Like, you have like this amazing setup.
Facilities, and we've had our fair share, Curse. That's why we've done the runs in esports, okay?
And we've had like those internet cafes in Korea, dude. That was so fun though.
Mm.
We're gonna do it. So we are like, I get asked all the time. We're inevitably gonna do a boot camp.
I can't wait.
In Korea, we are.
We are.
We're gonna do it.
I can't wait, dude.
We're gonna do it as soon as we can.
Broken by Concept from Korea.
Yeah, we'll just do the whole thing. I think we'll just go over and we'll just do your Soul 2 and I'll do my Mainland Academy from Korea.
That's right. That's fine.
And just hire a PC. You reckon just get a PC and like in like an Airbnb, or would you do it? Because doing Soul 2 or Midland Academy coaching from a computer at a PC bang is gonna be pretty.
No, I'll just. Yeah. So I'll
have to hire a
setup.
You would have to. I would have to buy a PC or hire a PC.
It's like what we did in our first boot camp, just one of those hotel setup things,
right?
From those Korean boot camp.
And then
companies.
We'd get Soul 2 people in Midland Academy people who want to do a boot camp. We could all go over.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
How cool would that be? I've had a few people interested. Like, if we're going to do a boot camp, that would be down to do it.
That's great.
That'd be cool.
That would actually be pretty fun, man.
It'd be like a real life community thing,
Interesting.
dude.
That's actually interesting. That could be like an event.
Yeah, like an actual boot camp.
Yeah.
Legit boot camp.
Huh.
Something we want to think about.
Yeah.
Well, obviously in Europe, we got to do a Europe one and an A1 at some point as well. Because COVID's kicking our ass right now.
Yeah, we'll give it a couple of years.
We'll get there. I reckon it will only be another year, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
One more year.
The whole vaccine and thing.
All right, do you want to move on to the mailbag?
All right, let's jump into Nathan's mailbag. Welcome back for Nathan's mailbag. Jingle, jingle song. All right, so first question here is from Manuel. Hi, my name is Mastro Splinter. I'm a LAS player. I've heard his name before. I think he used to be on my old Discord. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for your content. It has helped me a lot through my journey. It is amazing to see how much more professional the show and the discussions became. Congrats. Apparently our first discussions were just amateur.
Amateur level.
That's all right. I started playing the game in Season 5. Season 6, I even reached Diamond. The next seasons, I played a lot less, took a break during Season 9, and returned by Season 10. During Season 10, I played mainly mid lane and found Curtis's channel. I love learning and have always enjoyed studying game in depth. I describe myself as a natural competitor, and I'm used to looking for high efficiency and optimization in many aspects of my life, including gaming. Good mindset, good approach. Get into the details. Optimization, we love that here at the Broken by Concept podcast. Watching your content, both Curtis and Nathan's and the BBC podcast, motivated me to take my LoL experience to the next level by the start of preseason 11. I decided to stop queuing up for mid because half the time I ended up getting secondary role autofill. I picked my jungle champion pool of 3 champs, tried sticking with a schedule like 3 blocks of games, playing only with full intensity and when I had the time to prepare. I started reviewing pretty much all of my games and created a spreadsheet where I would take notes. I was surprised by how consistently I could take over games. By playing jungle, I felt like I could make a lot of use of the big amounts of game knowledge I have, playing the map and making informed decisions. The game just felt much more fun when I could impact the whole map and take advantage of enemies' mistakes. While playing mid, I found it difficult to translate my leads as Orianna into a win and felt like I relied on my jungler not being incompetent. Being the jungler makes your shot calling during the game more impactful. TLDR, I finished Season 10 in Platinum 3, and 4 months into Season 11, I reached Master. I had been getting a little bit lazier with my process. I'm not taking notes as I used to, but still review a lot of my games, especially the ones I'm not sure what went wrong and the ones I'm quite sure what put me ahead. The biggest aspect I had to focus on was my mental. I learned to trust the process, to put my attention into detail and understand that sometimes for me to win this game, I have to play 100% perfect. And despite playing an amazing game, one mistake can cost me the game. I've been consistently getting S and many games I don't even die once. Here's my question/theory. Do you climb in bursts of win streaks or slowly and consistently by getting something like 5 wins, 4 losses a day results? In my experience, I usually climb by getting 7 to 10 win streaks where my confidence and intensity are just through the roof and have a stabilization phase where I win and lose kind of equally. 40%, 60%, 40 to 60% win-loss. I feel I can only push my limits during these high confident phases and do the hard work during the stabilization one. How is it in your experience? I wanted to thank you guys for the content. I never expected to climb this fast, and I'm sure I wouldn't have made it without your support. Thanks again. So how do you climb? That's an interesting question. Do you climb from bursts? Yeah, so like the stabilization phase, I guess he talks about in terms of the 5 wins, 4 losses, right? I would say you do climb in bursts where you just fucking popping off, got the confidence. But were you popping off in that 5 wins, 4 losses anyway? Just things aligned a little bit more?
The way I view it, for me anyway, like it's about... usually for me, it's like 2 wins, 1 loss. And then another 2 wins, 1 loss.
That's a climb. That's a significant climb. Yeah.
That's in my usually for my climb, it's very slow. You don't get...
Yeah, overall mine was slow, but I had
you can get those bursts lower. Yeah. Elo. You just don't get them at this Elo anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I can't recall a time where I've been like, holy shit, I've won like this many games and I feel super confident. Like, no, it's like...
So you're talking about like high Elo, like Challenger, like...
Yeah, we're talking Challenger again. Like, you just don't. Like, it's just usually... Unless obviously I've dropped a lot. The only time where I go through a burst is when I've lost a lot due to like a loss of confidence. So like I'll drop and I'll lose like 12 in a row. And then I'll win like 10 in a row because I'm just getting back to my level of play.
Back to level of play, yeah.
But when I win a lot, I'm actually just playing... I'm in a level that's lower than my level of play.
Okay.
So that's for me.
Yeah, I would say overall it is. Again, my climb this year was very slow. I never gained. Yeah, but that's because I did the 3-block process, right? Yeah. So it actually couldn't be fast.
No.
But that's great because it actually couldn't be low, like a big loss in confidence going down as well.
For me, I've just been like, right now, I'll go through... I go through like a day where I go 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win, 2 losses. I've actually dropped quite a bit. Yeah. And then I'll make it up with a 1 loss, 2 wins. 1 loss, 2 wins. And then I'm just like... then I'm just like, I very rarely get a 3-0 block. If I do, that's like, holy shit.
That's insane.
But like, I'm just like at this rank and that's the way it is. And if I climb, I'll just get a few.
It'll be gradual.
It'll be very gradual. Yeah. Very gradual. For me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you think about it, if you're playing at your level of play, you really shouldn't be going on massive win streaks. That doesn't make sense.
If you're relying on like a boost of confidence to climb, then that means you're actually going to have times where you have low confidence and you're going to lose a lot. That's right. And that's so I don't think there's a good sign.
You can't rely on that, no.
Yes, you can get away with it, but it's just a waste of time. You're just going up and down. So yeah.
But as you said, high confidence.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's doing it. I mean, he sounds like he's got a great process. It seems like you don't need to do anything special, man. You're killing it.
That's the key thing. You don't have to do anything special.
But again, we say these things, Nathan, that are so ingrained. And we say them like they're just like very simple to understand concepts. But like...
They're very hard to...
They're very hard.
Really internalize.
They're really hard to... Because everyone says that. That's what Steve said. It's like, I get what I need to do, but I can't internalize it. And I don't know how to get...
Yeah, I struggle to get across in my coaching sessions. The vision game.
Right.
Because I understand the power of what the enemy team's vision looks like when I sweep and control it and you can't fucking walk in here at all. I'll just pick you, right? But that's really hard. I find that's one of the hardest things for me to get across.
You can't.
The vision game is so... Because it's foreign. It doesn't make...
It doesn't make sense until you felt it. Yeah. You've got to feel it.
It's very fucking difficult.
That's why you just got to blindly follow it. I did a coaching session today... And it was a Sinja versus Yasuo. And like he just slowly lost, right? And it didn't matter about I didn't really care. But I remember I was thinking in my mind, okay, if I was in this game, what would it look like? Because this is for him, it was a 30% loss. With his level of play, there's no way he could win this game. But I'm like, okay, just as I think I was walking here and I was thinking to myself, how would I have won that game? And like, it always like gets me excited to think, okay, if I took this really good trade, I would have dragged the enemy jungler here, would have wasted their time, which would have relieved pressure on the side lanes. Oh. Then the side lanes play out differently. Then my jungler...
I love that situation. Yeah.
So then
the drag and the map movements, dragging them around the map.
So you change the whole pace of the game. Whole pace of the game is different.
Yeah. But you didn't get any kills.
No, I got any kills, nothing. But my jungler's just in a better position then, has more, maybe... Like doesn't get punished for inefficient clear, gets a gank off that he wouldn't have got, didn't get counter gank for that gank that was actually a bad gank, but got away with it. My side lanes were overextended, but didn't get punished because I'm dragging the enemy jungler here. Like just little things. The game is different. And until you understand the missed opportunities, that is what gives me my confidence a lot of the time.
Yeah,
it's like
that's why you could play in low elo and you're so just chill. It's so easy.
I don't care because it's like I know that it's not. I'm not gonna. When you smurf, when a player smurfs, it's not what you think it is.
Yeah, it's not like you're running around killing everyone.
No, I'm not killing everyone. I can't do something that's my champion can't do.
Yeah, you can't just run in and just kill someone.
No,
They'll just run away.
It's all small wins.
Yeah.
Small wins. So that changes the game.
Wins.
Yeah, into big wins. And I think that like I've internalized that in even my higher elo games is like I know this is why we know the significance and why we do the end review. We know the significance of that one mistake because you're just in a different reality straight away.
Yeah.
And that understanding that is so important.
What happens if I come mid-curd? Let's say you place... what's the perspective of a mid laner? You have a control in inventory. I see you like move and like you place a control and I clear it in like the next 10, 15 seconds. Is that really annoying?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah,
really
stuff
annoying.
Like that. Like
pisses me off.
I like win. I feel like I win the game when I do that, dude. Because
Yeah,
I know the amount of pressure you're fucking on.
Depends on your jungler, but like certain junglers, like if I'm... like I have nightmares when I'm versing like a Nunu and a Nunu sweeps. I'm just so fucked.
You are.
Like, I just can't play the game.
He doesn't have to gank you.
Or like a Xin Zhao, same thing. Or
Yeah.
Xin Zhao just sweeps the river.
Yeah.
And I don't have a side to lean onto. I just have to give all pressure.
Yeah.
I'm useless.
Yeah.
And if I give all pressure, I can't take good trades and it's just... can't do anything. There's some games as a mid laner, it's actually completely out of your control.
I know it is. That's why I love jungling. Because I know how to shut down a mid laner.
It's true.
All right. Next question here is from Lucas. The title of this email is called Learning Mid Through Top. Hi guys, love your show. Been here since the beginning despite not playing ranked. I don't like playing alone, and since most of my friends are Diamond Plus with high normal MMR, we play versus very good people with a lot of Master Plus ranks. And I feel like these normals are really valuable for improving because I can see good results in my gameplay. Also been Diamond before uni kicked in a few years ago. Since one of my friend mains mid, I started playing a lot of top lane. Before I go into that, I just want to... That could actually be very dangerous because what happens now, you play those normal games, it's actually a good thing in theory, but you will think you're better than you are when you're playing your ranked games, and then you'll get into a huge hole.
You know how many times I played a normal game on I casually I'll play like a normal game with someone on like my main account, and I'm just like dicking around, like I'm playing like a secondary. I'm playing a champ I've never played before, or like a different role. Obviously,
like, I'm beating Coach Curtis.
Yeah, and they'll like subtly flame me.
Yeah,
it's like, are you challenger? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like here playing with my dick, flopping my dick on the keyboard here. What do you mean? Like, I'm not. This is a normal game.
Yeah,
I'm playing for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm alt tabbing, listening to music and shit. I'm not even literally barely playing League of Legends.
And then let's say you beat that
and this
player,
guy's getting all this confidence. Like, I played what are you talking about? Yeah. The lane is not played like this. If I wanted to, I can make you 0 CS by 15 minutes. But it's like, you get false confidence, you know, versing a master team. It just doesn't matter. So, like, that's just, like, when I hear that, it's a recipe for disaster.
So it's actually such a recipe for disaster. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's not good. Like, you shouldn't even... It's like... The way I view that is, like, negligible. NA. Not applicable. 0.
Yeah. So does the rest of this question even count?
Like, what's the question?
Since one of my friends mains mid, I started playing a lot of top lane, but playing Ari top, I really have to push the limits of my champ to make this work and actually make my mid performance become better through that. Additionally, 2 months ago, I started playing Yone top, and for like 70 games, it was a catastrophe with a lot of ints, but after that, it became better. Last days were pretty rough again, but confidence has to be destroyed when it's too high, I guess. Same principle with Ari. I've seen that my mid Yone became super good by learning him top. Curtis, do you think this could be a valid strategy to learn a mid lane champ?
I think there are certain champions that you can actually learn, like, you can.
In top.
Yeah. Or like, look, I'm not going to say you can get very specific about the skill set you're learning. Like, you're not going to learn you're not going to learn the matchups. You're not going to learn how to properly manage the waves. You're not going to learn how to, you know, just like a lot of mid-jungle 2v2 stuff. But you are going to learn a lot about like maybe the trading patterns. You're going to learn a little bit about what feels good, what doesn't feel good. You're going to know power spikes. you are going to learn the crux of the champion. I think, but only certain champions can do this. Like Yone top can work. Like Aurelia top, Yasuo top, like Vlad, I guess, maybe even Rise. Like there's certain champions you can, but there's a lot that you can't. So you have to be very like Ari top.
It's not even worth. You think it's just
no,
just limit it.
Just don't.
Yeah,
just don't even try.
Overcomplicating the shit.
You probably actually make you get worse at that champion. Actually,
yeah,
certain ones because the game's just
different. The long lane's too long.
Or you'll get an incorrect view of the champ's identity. You know. So yeah, I mean that email's a bit of a mess.
I mean, it's an end of review. That first.
It's an end of review. Yeah, it's an end of review in the first paragraph. Unfortunately.
Next question here is reviewing as an experienced silver player.
Okay.
Hi, Curtis and Nathan, long-time fan of the podcast and your YouTube content. You guys do so much good work for the game and the community. It's insane. Before I ask my question, a short backstory. I've played League for a couple of years now, but I didn't really start taking the game seriously until spring 2020 when I started playing ranked for real. I climbed from Iron 3 to Bronze 2 over the majority of Season 10, not really finding my role until late in 2020 when I settled on AD carry as the role I truly want to pursue and master, peaking Silver 4.
Wait, before you continue on, I'm actually doing a video on Bronze and Silver.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God.
It's pretty much done. I'm probably going to record it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's all about advice for Bronze and Silver people to climb to Gold. Because I haven't done any of this before.
Yeah. And your content's more catered to high elo.
That's
Gold
right.
Plus, and this is the first.
Yep.
Got it.
And this is the first video. It's directly to... Dude, it is fascinating. Bronze and Silver is a different ball game.
Okay.
Advice that I've never given in any of my other videos.
Guys, this is like a sneak peek preview.
No, I'm just saying, like, for those of you who are watching this, and whenever I hear this, like, look, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's coming out in hopefully in the next day or two, hopefully. And that will, it'll help. It'll be
change your world.
Yeah, it'll be big.
Since preseason and season 11, however, I have hard plateaued in Silver 4. Currently sitting at 516 games for the season, and I've not climbed at all. My question is this. In the past BBC episodes, I know that you have recommended not spending the time to review at such a low elo, but do you think it would be beneficial for someone who has really not gotten out of the lower ranks by just playing to try and get into the review of my games? I can sort of just try something different because whatever he's doing is not working. If not, are there any other more effective ways of spending my allocated league time besides just playing more games? Thank you.
Let me take over this one.
Okay, good.
I've done a lot of thought and thinking.
Research.
I've done a lot of research.
You've been in the lab.
I've been talking to Bronze and Silver.
Yeah. Done your research.
Yeah. So there's only one reason you should be reviewing in Silver.
Okay.
I found that certain Silver players, one of them actually, had success reviewing not because they learnt things, but because they actually refreshed. It was like a refresher. It was like a mentality. It's like refreshing my mentality before heading into the next game type thing. And it actually increased their seriousness. So a lot of people that are in Silver, and it's just going to sound terrible, but they don't actually want to improve. They're there because they're playing for fun. Right? And so one of them said, look, me reviewing, it increased my intensity. It actually like increased my seriousness in which I was taking the game.
Got it. So they actually helped them have more serious process.
They
wanted to improve.
They actually want to improve.
Yeah.
So look, you reviewing your game, I mean, look, I'm going to get into this in my video, but the reason you are stuck at Silver 4 over that many games is not to do with your gameplay. It is to do with either your view of the game or your champions. What I've noticed, without fail, is I'm going to give a few little tips here. I'm assuming you've played. You even said you've played a lot of roles and a lot of champions and all that shit. You play one champ in one role. You're getting a secondary. Play one champ in that role. One. Please be an easy champion as well. Right, I had one that tried to climb through Silver with Zoe. Couldn't do it.
Oh my God.
and if you tell me I love a champion this much and I'm not willing to, you don't actually want to improve.
You don't actually, that's right.
You do not have the dedication required to improve the game.
Yeah. It's a cop out.
It's a cop out. You don't actually take the game seriously. This is that. Second thing, you don't have a respect for the game. there's actually a lot of people that are stuck in silver because they don't realize how hard the game is.
Got it. I think it's just because you're playing League. It's like, oh, it's a game.
It's a game.
I was playing, you know?
You know, League is not COD. League is not Fortnite. You can't go on for an hour, dick around, and then leave and then learn.
Yeah.
That's not the way League of Legends is, unfortunately. It's not It's not Doom, the game I've been playing. It's not. You can't just jump on, play for fun with a beer, and then get off.
No.
It's a serious game. If you genuinely want to climb to gold, it's a hard ass game, and it requires discipline and a process. So the actual respect for the process and respect for the game is missing with a lot of these players.
Yeah. I mean, I always think that's in general. That's the problem with League is that people get so angry about not climbing their teammates because they actually have no respect for their own process. They have no respect for the game.
They actually don't respect the game.
It's like because it's a game, they deserve something.
Yep. Because you can do that in every other game. You can do that in COD,
yeah,
Fortnite, whatever you want to do. It's not the case with League of Legends. It's a different game. And the other thing as well is, please do not force plays. The loser's game versus winner's game.
Do less.
Do less. Plays will come to you. I guarantee you. All you got to do, farm, play off your power spikes, take trades or take fights that are good for your champion, take good resets, place your ward down, and wait for the enemy to fuck up.
I saw a comment saying they found it so fascinating what you said about your flash, the way you use flash. You use it way more defensively than proactively. And some guy was blown away by that. He was like, holy shit, that's so interesting.
It's so simple as well.
That's so crazy how that blows people away so much.
It's a defensive, it's an escape tool, dude.
Yeah.
Just don't use it aggressively. Stop. Unbind it if you have to, dude. Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
I don't care if you miss opportunities. Just don't give them opportunities.
That's what flashing forward into 4
doing nothing in many scenarios is going to win you the game. Until you internalize that, you're just not going anywhere.
No.
So I guarantee if I watch this guy's game, no offense, this is not a personal thing, it's just what I've seen. Again, it's one of those things. I could lay a lot of money on it. It is one of those things.
Yep.
Super simple.
I agree.
So
well, everyone look forward to Curtis' video.
Yeah, my little video, my bronze and silver video. And I'm redoing my thumbnails completely. So it's going to be, it's a huge event.
This is a big event.
It is.
For the Coach Curtis YouTube channel.
It is.
Dude, when are you getting your 100K thing?
I don't know. They haven't asked me. No, but they have my address. So but
they should tell you it's on its way or something.
I haven't got anything.
Maybe they wait for a little bit to make sure it's like you really got 100K.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's like people, you could like maybe botted it or something. You know?
That's true. Probably verify it. Yeah, but I'm changing my thumbnails completely.
Oh my God,
I had this creative idea.
Oh, Jesus, Curtis.
It's unique. So I wanted something that was completely different to any other League thumbnail, but professional and like something that's super consistent.
Yeah.
I'd love to get your thoughts on it, guys, after. But yeah, anyway, that video will come out. Hopefully that puts you on the right path.
Well, I think that wraps up episode number 52 of BBC. I hope everyone enjoyed it. You can send us an email to the next Nathan's Mailbag.
Yep.
Or Curtis mocks me. brokenbyconceptshow@gmail.com if you want us to answer your questions, solve your problems.
Yep. We're problem solvers. We're firemen. Put out fires.
In this case, we put the BABADOOK in
the basement.
In the basement for you.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or we gave you the instruction manual to how to put the BABADOOK in the basement for dummies.
Yes. Great.
I like it.
Love it.
Maybe that's what we should call the title of the video.
What?
People are like, what is that?
It could be a good title, Curtis. That's Clickbait 101.
That is Clickbait 101.
Enjoy, guys. Keep on improving in ranked. We'll see you in the next BBC episode.